Alright, we're back with more Aetherdrift. Today we are playing a deck I have titled Boiled Loot. So we've got Loot the Pathfinder, which is a 5-mana 2/4 double strike vigilance haste. Importantly, it has 3 exhaust abilities. One is sort of like a Black Lotus, you get 3 mana. One's an Ancestral, you draw 3 cards, and then you get a Lightning Bolt, which is a deal 3. So our plan is to use Inti and Rona to discard loot into the graveyard. And then use Agatha's Soul Cauldron to start making our creatures into loots, so they can use all these activated abilities. And then we have Marauding Mako, which is a 1-drop that gets pumped up whenever you discard cards. We've got Kiora as well to discard, some Relic of Legends. This is a legend deck. We can use all our legends to just hard cast loot and use all the abilities that way. And then some filler cards like Hajar, Ruby, also notably Sita, however you say this. It's a 2-mana 2/3, and then you can pump a bunch of mana into it with the exhaust ability. Exhaust abilities can only be used once, by the way, for those who aren't familiar with the new cards. But then you get to make all your other creatures equal to its power. So this does work with Cauldron as well. You can discard this and then just buff your whole board and sort of one-shot your opponent. That's nice. Some Plaza of Heroes as a mana fixer and a powerful way to protect things like Kiora and loot. Other than that, pretty straightforward deck. We're just gonna play some best of one and see if we can get it to work. There's one of Geralf that I'm trying, just because with Rona and Relic you can make a bunch of mana and then make a bunch of zombies. Other than that, pretty straightforward. The plan is get loot in the graveyard and then use Soul Cauldron to supercharge your creatures. Alright, we get to go first. I guess I'll keep this hand. I'll admit that the mana with this deck isn't great. Really relying on Plaza to get the mana together. There's a lot of pain lands which aren't great, but we'll see how it goes. Alright. Extra lands, whatever. We have plenty of ways to discard. Seed of Hope. So my opponent's doing a similar thing to what we are. And they were fortunate enough to hit a loot into the graveyard, so this will be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with this Inti. I guess it's sort of unlikely I need all the lands. But pumping the Inti means that if I want to cast the Kiora, I don't really get any value. So we'll see what happens. Yep. Okay. Don't need all these lands. So get rid of the extra green source. Okay, now do I want to just cast Kiora? I think I am going to cast Kiora even though I'm throwing away my card. I don't know. I honestly just didn't realize this was a 1/4. I pumped my guy, but not a big deal. I think I'm going to discard loot and we're just going to go for broke. Again, I don't really need an extra green source. I don't really need the torch either. I'm not sure what this is going to do. It does matter to clean up their board. Apologize. I am still sick. I keep trying to mute my mic, but it makes commentary a little bit awkward. Alright, so there's the Cauldron. So we're probably just dead, but we'll do what we can. Maybe they block and we get to torch down their creature. I guess it is going to eat my Kiora, which isn't great, but maybe they don't have another creature. Oh wow, okay. So now what are we doing? this isn't going very well. But I guess for the sake of learning, it is kind of cool that we're playing against a deck that's similar to ours. So maybe there's some things they're doing that we could pick up on and incorporate in our deck. It's nice. It's useful to be able to sort of contrast. Rona is a good one, though. This deck, with Rona and without Rona, is a very different beast. As with most Legends decks. This is a card I thought about including, but honestly I just don't want to craft use the rare wild card on it, but this might be worth doing. Our opponent is unfortunately a bit slow, but I think we can just concede after our next draw step if we miss. We'll see what happens, though. I would have loved any sort of way to just kick into this and remove it, but there's not that many options for that. We would have had to draw Relic, I think, and then just played our hand out and sacked the Relic to blow up the Rona. Yeah, I guess this activated ability is double green, so that's something I probably should have considered. I kept discarding my extra green sources, but... Oh, this opponent. Cool. Alright, let's go. Land. We're gonna pump the Sita and then hope they just die, to be honest. Maybe they mess up. Okay, they copy our loot. I'm gonna hit them with a year ago. This is like kind of unacceptable, right? Like I get your deck's complicated, but I wish I could get inside of their mind and try to figure out what they're figuring out. They just have a bounce spell here we can concede. I guess I'll maybe let them... Okay, well that was a terrible play. Are they dead now? 2 mana left. Sure, you have a bounce spell. Great. Okay, if this person wasn't so slow, I think I would let them do stuff. But we're just gonna concede. This is gonna take too long. They definitely got us. But now, I mean, you can see what's going on. They got my loot. They had their own loot anyway. It didn't really matter. But now, this one gets to Ancestral and Lightning Bolt. This one gets to Black Lotus and Ancestral, and we're sort of just out of contention. They can clear one of our creatures and do all the other cool stuff, and then put more creatures into play. But yeah, these loot mirrors I think typically are just gonna be sort of who gets Cauldron plus loot first. My opponent, I think their deck is better at finding this, so is what it is. So GG's. But yeah, not very interactive matchup. But if this Torch was like a way to deal 3, I don't even know if there's a card in the format that would actually let me deal 3 in my Legends deck, but that would have been nice. But yeah, we're gonna concede. We're gonna move on. This opponent is kind of the worst. But GG. Go again. Alright, opponent goes first. Yeah, I think this hand's good. We got Mako into Rona, we've got Relic, we've got a Legend. Plains Candy Trail, so maybe some sort of like white control deck. Maybe blue-white artifacts too. They just drew their plains. Yep. Alright, well, that's scary. Well, if this Rona gets answered, you could also potentially just have temporary lockdown in their deck. But if this Rona gets answered, my draw is sort of mediocre. If it doesn't get answered, maybe we have a chance to do something cool. Okay, so it's just a control deck, I guess. That is no temporary lockdown mana, which is nice. Maybe they can't deal with this. And it could still just be an artifact deck. I don't know if Fountain Port's the colorless land you would choose to play. Maybe it is. Whatever. Okay, so what can we do here? So Relic, play Hajar, I guess, and then loot. Or not loot, but there's two loots. I wish they didn't name this thing this. Loot with the Rona. Play Relic. I don't know why they didn't just get lost right away. Guess, I mean, I could just cast it. It's somewhat awkward that my things are going to be summoning sick. Is that good? I don't think so. It is just a body, but if this stays in play, we can get an Ancestral. It is really nice that in this deck you can just cast the loot. I do not have Forest in my deck, but we've got a green source in hand, so. This with Relic anyway. So now what are we doing? I think we're just gonna pass. And if they tap out, we can activate Cauldron, target Sita, and then we'll have a loot. So we get to Ancestral that way. So I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep it here, but we do get to draw 3 cards, which is nice. Haste creatures are something I hadn't really considered, but haste creatures are actually really nice. Just because of the Cauldron. Like, you can't activate the loot abilities if your thing's summoning sick, because only loot has haste. So what can we do? We're just Ancestraling. Okay, so how big can we make this thing? Have a bunch of mana up. What else can we do? I think I just do nothing. Do I want to play my hand out? So we have Bolt. So this is Ancestral, this is Bolt. I could play Inti and just cycle with Mako. And then I don't have to commit to the board as much. Maybe thinking about a counter spell. If they do ever tap out for some reason, I can maybe just kill them with the Sita pump. For now, we're just gonna chill. I guess this could have attacked because it's just worth a lightning bolt anyway. Lockdown. Okay, well that clears everything. So how do I want to do this? I have 4 mana. I will Ancestral. Okay, there's a Ruby. Draw Plaza. And then I guess I will lightning bolt you in the face. And then we will just Cauldron one of their cards. Okay. So we no longer have a loot. Okay, well now we have a loot. So Plaza. Ruby. And then what, I can go Inti. Attack. Does that really accomplish anything for me though? So I should have done this first. Just cast the loot. If it gets Sunfalled, it's sort of bad for me though. Tapped the Plaza, which is kind of awkward. Activated ability will just become draw discard. Yeah, I messed up my sequencing a lot. I'm getting punished. Oh, never mind, I'm not getting punished. Duh. My cards have text. It's not great for me. They could just have another lockdown, I guess, and then I sort of get punished, but I guess I'm just gonna hard cast the loot at that point and hope that it can carry. So far, my impression is that I'm not even sure if you need to do the Soul Cauldron stuff. Like, maybe this card is just worth casting. Like, Beam Teamer sucks, but get a Rona under it, I guess. Ruby can loot now. Not that valuable, but the extra stats are good. I guess I could have just put it here. Okay. Let's play Inti. Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of just don't even want to discard the loot away. Suppose I could have not attacked with this. Yeah, that would have been better. I don't know. Sunfall and Lockdown are terrifying. This Plaza is pretty good if those things don't happen, but sort of just have nothing going for me if they have one of those cards. I did not play this game very well. And I'm sure the deck has 4 lockdowns, 4 sunfalls, because anyone that plays blue-white control is just foaming at the mouth to cast those cards. Yeah, that will probably do it. Unlucky. Could have played better, but they got me. Yeah, if they're probably just countering the loot, I guess, but you could. There's a lot of things you could do. I don't think blue-white control is a particularly playable deck when people are just hopeless nightmaring you, but they got us. GG's. Alright, we could gamble. This hand is kind of... I don't know. This hand's funny. It doesn't really do anything. I guess I'll just mulligan. This hand sucks, but I'll keep it. It's a curve, but I have all pain lands. That's terrifying. Alright, might be dead. Might be dead. Yeah, I mean, this deck... The difference between this deck when it has Scavenger in turn 1 and doesn't is just so night and day. It's the same as Heartfire Hero. They just made these, like, uncommon 1-drops that if you have on the play and your opponent doesn't have a removal spell, you just immediately die. So, that sucks, but this is what Magic is now, so you just kind of have to accept it. Like, if you want to try to do some clunky meme stuff, you just get murdered instantly. I think we're probably out of this one. We could try, but I don't know if it's gonna work. This deck has not been it thus far. It's cool, but I think for something like this to be good, people have to play like mid-range decks, and that's not really a thing anymore. Yeah, I mean, this hand is just obscene. All right, good game. Let's try a couple more. All right, let's see if we can get on the board. Got some Ronas. I keep. Rona equals keep. Can you answer my Rona? Okay, cool. Kiora ain't bad. I guess I'm doing this over Inti. Inti's nice and all, but I think I want to just use my mana. Extra Rona, maybe I don't need. All right. This will be interesting. I think my deck's maybe a bit too slow. I also just don't have a loot yet. I wonder if my deck needs, like, I don't know, some other better way of killing people, maybe? I think that's worth casting. Speaking of better ways of killing people. Oh, I didn't play the Inti. I was supposed to do that, my bad. No, I did it right. I'm good. I've got Rona on tap, so. Okay, we're at 5. Guess I can't really hit that many things anyway. Damn. Well, that's sad. Okay. No loot. Fortunately, we weren't able to get the Kiora online. See what they can do. I don't have a lot of mana, but I can Cauldron something up to make it a Sita. Like, if this... That's terrifying. If this gets big enough, I can just, activate this ability. I don't even need to pump X into it. I just need to activate it when it's large. Wow, okay. Well, we died. Opponent with a very good hand of punishing my start. Yeah, we're just not going to be able to scale up with that, I don't think. There's a body in play. Do I need to land anyway? This makes 8/8. Can shrink to 7. Probably don't. Whatever. I'm not sure if this relic actually really accomplishes anything at this point. I guess this doesn't either, though. So if we can live, we can maybe just kill them next turn, which is kind of nonsense, but I assume they're just going to take... maybe not. I suppose they could just block a bunch of things. This not getting blocked is really weird. This is the worst block in the history of time, right? Let's trample anyway. Is my torch getting better? What do I get? Just a Mako. Why would it matter to grow a different creature? I guess if they have a removal spell for the Mako, it's kind of annoying, but I think I'm just gonna max the damage. Okay, so next turn I can make all my creatures like 10/10s basically, or 11/11s. They won't get trampled though. They have the casket. Well, that sucks. They went after Kiora. What is my opponent doing? I think they're still gonna win because they just have 40 power, but none of these attacked. A loot. A loot? I don't even know if it matters. I guess, are they just gonna die anyway? Okay. My opponent's 40 stats wasn't good enough, I guess. That was something else. My opponent had to play really silly to lose that, but that was kind of cool. Our deck did a thing. It's funny that we just had loot and just didn't use it because of the whatever the blue-green creature's name is, but on the board, nice. That was cool. GG. Alright, let's get one more deck. Or one more game. We have to go first. This is just curving the loot. I think I'll keep this. And we've got 2 lands that aren't going to deal us damage, which is nice. Hopefully we don't get murdered by a 1-drop. That might happen. I am playing shitty best of 1. It's my own fault, but this format's a little better for videos, I think. A little easier on me. Alright, no 1-drop. You love to see it. Let's go this guy. We may flood and die, but we won't die and die, I guess. We won't get murdered by a mouse. Island, okay. Keep jamming my stuff. Don't know what my opponent has. So we are at play loot activate. I think I am just gonna jam. Please resolve. Okay. That's cool. Alright, well this is nice. I guess my opponent just had a bad draw or something like that, but even if we do get sweepered here, which I don't know if there are any black sweepers, we get an ancestral out of the deal, which is pretty good. And if loot dies, we can just find a cauldron. So that's kind of cool. I don't know what my opponent kept. Yeah, I was trying to make sure there's nothing I can do with this, but I don't think there is. Okay, well, a million lands is not the most ideal. If they want to block, we can just lightning bolt. And Kiora Mako is nice. Let's cast. Oh, whoops. Alright, cast this guy. Get rid of some of these extra lands. Buff our guy up to 3/3. It's a nice draw. Reef is worse. So I have Lightning Bolt. I want to keep the Lotus effect. Let's play this. I guess we'll tap Kiora. Alright, your turn. So Luke can still block and then bolt. And then we can maybe just pump up our board and kill him next turn anyway. This can become 6 power, so I attack for 18. I guess this is +2 because it's counters. Sure. Whose hand? You want to see my hand? This is my hand. The loot lives, I also get the Black Lotus, so this will just pump for a gajillion. Okay, do I want to bolt their face? I guess so. I think they're dead. Nice. Well, this is a sweet last game. I think I have cut down. I guess cut down blows me out. Can I do anything about that? So Plaza's gonna be 4. Loot is 2. So I guess we'll go Black Lotus. Add a bunch of green. And then I can do it for 2. This gets to 4 power. And that's still lethal. And then I leave up Plaza. So we'll go activate this. Let's make sure that Okay, so blue, 1. Let's make this 4 power. And then loot will double strike, we'll take action, and then we've got Plaza to save our thing. Nice. Alright, well this deck was sweet. I don't know if it was the most competitive deck. It was a lot of fun. I think, I don't know if we hit like our nut draws really. But at the same time, it kind of felt like we weren't doing anything super busted. It's kind of like a fair Cauldron deck. There aren't any true combos. You're just getting value from the stuff you got going on. But it was a lot of fun to play. Loot seems like a pretty good card. I'm not sure if you need to go the Legend route. Like the first opponent we played had like Seed of Hope. There's a lot of ways to do this. I think if you're going to do something like the first opponent, where like you have Seed of Hope, Loop, and all that loot, at that point, maybe just do Omniscience combo BS, where you try to kill your opponent on turn 3 or turn 2 or whatever. I don't know if just like all-in loot for value makes sense. But yeah, I like the direction I went with this deck. Maybe you just want like some extra interaction, some like Spell Pierces and Torches. The Marauding Mako looked relatively good. It has a little bit of a problem where if Rona just dies, it doesn't do that much. But I think you probably want 4 Kioras. We never drew Geralf. This deck was really cool. This card is very impressive. It's not super flashy because it's just a 2-drop that can die or whatever, but it's got okay stats, and its activated ability just being an overrun is pretty strong. And it works really well with Cauldron. So I think there's something here. It probably needs a little bit of work. Maybe this is something we'll revisit in the future, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the deck. It's a lot of fun. I recommend giving it a shot if you got the cards. And I will see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to import this into your Arena account, there should be a copy-pastable export in the description, so you can do that. And I'll see you next time. Peace.